Hello, hello, welcome back. Today we have the most interesting topic ever. I love looking into the science behind things and just studying when they have the anthropology classes and psychology and all of these things and just to put it all together and when everything just meshes, it's wow, you're going to love it. And so today we're talking about, let's look at the title, what you must know to be 100% healthy or totally healthy. The science behind relationships and why is it even important? And because this is a pretty controversial topic nowadays. So if you're triggered, I completely understand. And this message is only for the few people who are meant to hear it. But, facts are facts and truth is truth. So let's get into it. And before we go on, my name is Amanda, and here we talk about everything to help women live their best lives and step into the woman that they were meant to be, get into your confidence and live your best life. So that's what we're talking about today. And I was listening to this video from my mentor and she was talking about these things and I was like, this is amazing. I have to share this stuff. And yeah, it completely changed my viewpoint because when I was younger, I definitely thought I never wanted to have kids, never wanted to be in a relationship, wanted to be the independent, feminist. I was all of those things. And did it make me happy? No, it did not. And that's the thing is what makes you feel vibrant from the inside out. Whatever you choose, go ahead and do that. I'm not going to argue with you, but this is what I felt and what a lot of people do, and just hardly anyone speaking out on it from the other side. So that's what we're doing here. I'm looking at my notes. That's why I'm looking down. So I want to look at this of, relationships, because all of us are taught that, oh, these aren't important and all of this. But this is where I want to bring the science and stuff in. If you look in the evolutionary books, and I mean that in the term because that's what the books are called, but what I mean by it is just how we've been for thousands of years and how we've lived and what's in our actual DNA and what we actually know. If we look through all of this, we've always been in tribes and surrounded by people and been part of that. And we've always, like how animals do, they're meant to they find somebody else and then they have kids. And that's just the thing of life. But what are we doing recently in the past 2 generations as people? We've been no, screw relationships. We can do everything by ourselves. Let's be super independent. And who needs men? Or men being who needs women? And the reality is we need each other, because just looking at it from the fact standpoint, from the science, that's how we've always been. That's the only thing our DNA knows, is being together. And when we're not, what do we see? We see, people taking themselves out. I'm not going to say the word, but those things are skyrocketing. Why are women in their 50s, or women in general, on the most antidepressants and medications and therapy than in all of history? Why are they more unhappy than ever? It's because we've all been sold this lie that all that matters is ourselves and to do everything by ourselves and for ourselves and not have anyone else in our life. I have another video on this that I've made. I don't know what it's called, but I think it was they've lied to us, the attack on femininity or something like that. Anyways, that's another good video. But anyways, going into what we're talking about today, I'm going to lay out the foundation of why we need our DNA and to make us healthy as individuals, and just going with the backing of the science because of how we've been for thousands of years. It's in our DNA of what we must do to be healthy. So I'm going to say these in reverse order. So number 4 is friendships. That was always a big part of our history, because going back, they say our skulls were thicker, and it's because we would bash each other on the heads if we disagreed or were in fights. And so we needed that. And so to protect ourselves, we formed friendships and to help protect each other. And, because everyone knows you're stronger in a unit than by yourself. And that's one reason why, if you look at it I'm just saying from the evolutionary perspective, when they say why homo sapiens, accelerated above all other species, is because of our agreeableness. We learned how to work together. And the part of that was friendships. And so that's number 4. So friendships are extremely important. So when people are like, just do everything by yourself and all this stuff, our bodies are not used to it. We've never lived life that way. The only time we had to be independent was if we made our tribe mad and they kicked us out. And that usually meant death. So that's why our bodies go into hyperdrive and we get extremely sick when we're doing this independent thing, and we see it with all the statistics out there, is because our bodies don't know how to handle that. So friendships are important. Of course, good friendships. And so number 3 is trade. So that's another thing that set us apart from all the other species, if we're looking at it from that perspective, is because we could trade. So what one tribe had, because of where they lived, we could trade it with another tribe, and even with each other. Like the man would bring something to the table and the woman will bring something. They're 2 different things, but essential together. And so that's another reason why a lot of people have like really low self-esteem or all these things, is because they feel like, because it's in our DNA to trade, because they feel like they have nothing that they bring to the table. So definitely go into this and see, what do you bring to the table? Like get good in a skill set, work hard on yourself, be educated. There's so many things, or just even that will help your confidence, just being able to have friends or lose the social anxiety, is because if you know you bring something of value, then you have that confidence. So like, what do you bring? Do you bring like your presence? Are you extremely conscious and grounded? Like you're not bringing a whole bunch of drama into somebody else's life. You bring your stability. Like there's all these things that you can bring, and it doesn't have to be tangible. It's not everything to be bartered, So I just hope you can kind of see the underlying precept behind all of this. So number 4 was friendships. Number 3 was trade. And number 2 is kids, offspring. That was always extremely important. Like as we said, like with the animals, that's like the point. And it's the same with us. That's how we've been. It's in our DNA for thousands of years. So how can we in the last 2 generations just say, screw relationships, screw kids, like I'm going to just do everything myself and for myself? We see how that's panning out for people. We see how women in their 50s and on who are single are the most depressed. And, it's because we've never lived that way. Our bodies don't know how to handle that. This is what we've been made for. And we feel the connection and the love and the stability. A really good video to watch is by Mina Irfan. Her tag name is The Universe Guru. And look at her video a little while back on the dematerialization of the family unit. Completely changed my outlook. I thought I never wanted to have anything to do with family or kids or any of that. And the way she put it, I was like, wow, this is life-changing. And she brings the science and everything into it. So it's not just like some Lulu or religious stuff, okay? And also like kids, it's important. It's your legacy. And it's inner work for you too. It makes you grow and expand. And a lot of times people are leaving it like, especially women, like, and I know this can trigger a lot of people, so I'm not saying this to be mean, okay? I'm just saying what the facts are. And of course you can make life work wherever you're at, like definitely bloom where you're planted. And can women in their 50s still have kids? Yeah. I think there's even been documentation of like girls in their 60s having kids. So of course anything is possible. But what I'm saying is, for the ideal life, in a sense, is women keep pushing back kids. Like they're like, I'm gonna have my career first and then maybe have kids in my 30s or whatever. But the thing is we can't necessarily do that in a sense anymore if you do want children. Because a lot of people will say, well, our ancestors, they could have kids in their like 40s and 50s. And it's like, yeah, they could. But the thing is, we're in a completely different ballgame now because of how people are eating, the health factors, everything. It's actually proven now that men have a 40% lower sperm count than their grandfathers did. 40%. That means they have like half of what it was just 2 generations ago. And women are less fertile in their 20s than just their grandmothers were when their grandmothers were 35. Let that sink in. So that's why if you just want to keep waiting, a lot of times maybe, things can come up or it won't happen. And I'm just like saying facts. Like it's kind of crazy. And then number 1 of our little list of what's in our DNA for like thousands of years is the romance, because that's like the most important thing. Like I'm saying this in the hierarchy of importance, because if you look at like going back to the evolutionary thing of like if you read those books from college, is how they explain it. Of all the mammal species, of like what 4,000 species there are, 93 or 97%, I think. Yes, 97% of the fathers are not involved in the child rearing besides, the one thing that they do. And that's a lot. But there's 3% of that whole group that actually the fathers are just as involved as the mothers are in the child rearing. And homo sapiens, people, are one of those 3% of the whole thing. So we're special in that way, and it shows that we need each other. And I mean, why does everyone love watching, and I've never watched, but like James Bond, or like why are like romance novels still number 1 for women reading? If we're always saying that, oh, we are just so independent, we don't need men, then why is it still number 1 of the books that women read? It's because it's in our DNA to want that love and affection, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's how we've been for thousands of years, and when we try to mess with that, that's when we get the broken homes or the broken people and unhappiness and everything. So anyhow, I just thought it was very interesting for me to read and study, and anyhow, I hope it helped you guys too, or made you see things in a little different of a light, or something like that, because I really appreciate when other people bring these things to my attention, because it really changes my life, and I'm glad I'm seeing these things at my age instead of realizing them later. I feel really lucky, and I just want my people to benefit from that too. So I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely comment below your thoughts and be nice. If you don't agree with me, that's totally fine, but I'm not going to be hating on you because I don't agree with you. So, be nice. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.